Hey there, volunteers. Welcome to the 2015 Moontower Comedy and Oddity Festival Volunteer Orientation. I'm Robert Vega, the Festival Volunteer Coordinator. For those of you who are returning volunteers, welcome back, and for all of our new volunteers, welcome to the team. Today we'll be hearing from two very special people who helped make this festival happen. First, you'll hear from Lisa Brass, Executive Director of Programming at the Paramount Theater, and the Moontower Festival Director. Following Lisa's welcome message, you'll hear from Jason Tremblay, the festival manager, about the festival badges, lines, and venues. And finally, I'll chat with you again about the volunteer program, check-in, and other details. All right, let's get started with Lisa Brass.
Hi everyone, my name is Lisa Brass, the executive producer of Moontower Comedy and Oddity Festival. Thank you so much for volunteering. Many of you are returning volunteers and we think that's terrific. That tells me we must be doing something right. Please allow me to introduce you to a couple of the key players that you'll be running into around the festival. Our talent producers, Colleen McGarr and Margie Coyle, they're the best in the business. They have managed some of the biggest names in comedy, have talent produced the Just for Laughs Comedy Festival in Montreal, and own Austin's legendary Cap City Comedy Club. When you see them on the street, please thank them for their incredible hard work. As the producer of Moontower, the Paramount Theater is not just a large organization. In fact, we're a very small nonprofit with only 40 full-time employees. It's our amazing volunteer corps that allows us to fire up and present over 100 of the nation's top comedians, 60-plus showcases, in 11 venues in only 4 days. So as a volunteer, your active and intelligent participation is critical to our success. Now in its fourth year, Moontower has established itself as one of the nation's top comedy festivals and is considered a frontrunner in the industry among worldwide festivals like Just for Laughs and Melbourne Comedy Festival. And guess what? We couldn't accomplish this without you. Needless to say, producing a festival of this caliber is hard work, but we'll all have a great time and have plenty of laughs. Thank you so much, and please be sure to say hi when you see me.
Hello volunteers and welcome. My name is Jason Tremblay and I'm the festival manager for Moontower this year. Thank you so much for joining us. I would quickly like to go over 3 areas of the festival for you. First, our venues, then the festival schedule, and finally tickets and badges. Here's what the festival map looks like. Make sure to grab one when you check in. The center of our festival footprint are the historic State and Paramount theaters. Heading east down 6th Street, you'll find the Parish, Vulcan Gas Company, and Velveeta Room. Down Congress, we have Speakeasy and a new venue, the Townsend. The New Movement is our hub for our improv shows, and new this year will be in the just opened Google Fiber Lounge. It's pretty cool. You'll have to check it out. Also, we'll have our first trip to the UT campus. We'll be at the Cactus Cafe, and finally, the festival favorite Cap City Comedy Club. Okay, so here's a copy of the festival schedule. Our festival this year includes over 100 amazing artists and several unique events you won't find anywhere else, like Saturday's Moontown Ping Pong Slapdown, where comedians and festival guests faced off in an epic ping pong battle. It's serious business out there. Our headliners this year include Ron White, Pat Oswalt, Wanda Sykes, Mark Maron, and Maria Banford. All that stuff is in the festival schedule. This is what it looks like. Make sure to grab one and check it out. Finally, I'm going to talk just very quickly about lines and badges. For the festival, we have a number of different badges, tickets, and wristbands. The type of tickets or badges that our patrons possess will determine which lines they will be joining at each of our venues. While we have specific guidelines for the festival, there are a few subtle differences at some venues, so be sure to listen to the instructions you're going to get from your house manager and your volunteer leader at each of the venues that you're going to be working at. Our 3 lines in order that patrons will enter will be: first, we have VIP, artist, and sponsor badges are in the first line. And the second line, we have wristbands, ace badges, fan badges, and media passes. That's the second line. And finally, behind that, the third line is when we'll have our single day tickets. That's it for me. Be sure to say hi when you see me walking around the festival. I hope you have a great time this year. Back to you, Robert.
Thanks, Jason. All right, let's go over the Moontower volunteer roles. Your volunteer area leader will give you a training at the start of your shift, so this is more of an introduction. One thing that I highly recommend for all volunteers is that you have a good understanding of the schedule and a good sense of the locations of our venues. Whether you're working a venue, badge pickup, or hospitality, a question you'll all get is, who's playing where and how do I get there? A good tip is to keep a copy of the schedule in your back pocket. Venue volunteers will be stationed at one of the 9 venues around the downtown area, working with a small team of seasoned professionals at each of the venues. Your primary point of contact is your volunteer leader. The volunteer leader works with the house and stage managers to make sure that our volunteer teams are helping where the help is needed most. As a venue volunteer, you will help set up and break down the venue, work the lines outside, verify credentials, count the number of guests, and help our guests with any festival or local information or just having a good chat. Our observer volunteers may take one of two roles during the shift. If a venue volunteer no-shows, an observer will take that person's place. If we have no no-shows, everyone will be an observer. In this case, observers will check out 2 shows per shift. Unfortunately, observers do not get to choose the show you check out. The way it works is that I'll get a call immediately before the shows to let me know how many observers can be accommodated at each venue, after which I'll direct you to your show. After the first show, you'll check back in with me and I'll let you know where you're going to go for the next show. At the end of the night, I'll send you an evaluation link that you'll use to provide any feedback of each of the shows you observed. Hospitality volunteers are all about making sure that our VIP guests and artists are well taken care of. There will be a Paramount team leader at Hospitality to train you on badge check, seating, and hosting. Hospitality takes place in the Stephen F. Austin's Esquire Lounge on the 2nd floor. Ping Pong Slapdown volunteers will help with the ping pong tournament that pits badge holders against comics. This shift takes place at the Stateside Theater on Saturday, April 25th from 1 to 6 p.m. Volunteer check-in will take place in the Stateside Theater basement, next door to the Paramount. Check-in will be open on Wednesday, April 22nd from 5 to 8 p.m., and then Thursday through Saturday of the festival from 5 to 10 p.m. Please check in 10 minutes prior to your shift. If you are volunteering in one of these shifts, please note that you will check in directly at your volunteer area. Hospitality volunteers in the 4:45 shift should check in directly at Stephen F. Austin. Ping Pong Slapdown volunteers will check in at the Stateside Theater lobby, and the Cactus Cafe volunteers will check in at the Cactus Cafe in the Texas Union Ballroom at UT Austin. So we have no doubt that all of you are going to be fantastic volunteers, but because we'll be mixing with artists and guests, I'd like to review a few do's and don'ts for the festival. Most importantly, have a good time. This is a fun, odd festival, so make the most of it. There are a few things that you'll want to avoid during the festival. As you see here, the key don'ts are: don't get upset when a guest gets assertive. Remember to let your house manager or volunteer leader help that guest. Don't drink during your shift. Our venues are bars, but save your drink for after the festival. Don't be late. If you are late, you might lose your spot to an observer, but we'd rather you be there. And don't stalk the artist. If you find yourself in an unusual or medical situation, please don't try to play the hero. If it is not an emergency, notify a security officer, house manager, or volunteer leader. If it is an emergency, call 911, then notify one of the venue leaders. Each of you will have one yellow t-shirt during the festival. Please make sure to bring your t-shirt with you each day. You won't be able to volunteer without it. And keep in mind that you will not have access to storage space during the festival, so only bring what you can carry. As a huge thank you for volunteering at the Moontower Festival, volunteers are invited to catch a few shows on the evenings you're not working. When you pick up your t-shirt, you'll also get your wristbands that give you access to these venues. Keep in mind that volunteer wristbands will only get you in if space is available, and of course badge holders go first. If you like to pick up your t-shirt and wristbands before your first shift, you can meet me at the volunteer headquarters on Wednesday, April 22nd between 5 and 8 p.m. You will not have access to the parking garage without your t-shirt, so please use street parking on that day. You can also pick up your t-shirt and wristbands when you check in for your first shift. Alright, that brings us to the end of the orientation. Please remember that you have until Tuesday, April 21st at noon to fill out the online web form verifying that you have indeed completed this orientation. I have no doubt that you got it and that you're all good. Thanks everyone for giving your volunteer time and energy to the Moontower Festival. We could not host this event without all of your tremendous support. I look forward to seeing you really soon. Thanks again.